Hi, and welcome to Section 8 of Microstrategy training offered by Business Intelligence Services at Virginia Tech. In this training, we're going to talk about importing data for dashboards and a little bit about how to work with Microstrategy dashboards. This feature is really useful in importing a spreadsheet and doing analysis and data exploration. Any kind of spreadsheet or comma-separated file will work. Also, it's good for connecting external data with your data that's in the regular data model. We're not going to go into that a lot, but you can actually link, like if you had a list of students and some extra data on them and you wanted to include that in a report of students, you could link it by their ID and display both pieces of information on the same report. So it's a way to merge your external data with banner data. You can use it in finance by connecting by fund code and org code. So there's lots of possibilities with data for dashboarding. You can even import data that has nothing to do with anything that you work with in MicroStrategy currently and do analysis on those. And we'll do this as an example by importing some slot machine data and doing some analysis. Everyone who gets sign-on to MicroStrategy has this capability, and you just store everything in your My Reports folder, and you can utilize MicroStrategy for a variety of uses. So we'll start by going to our MicroStrategy home screen, and we're finally going to get to what are we doing with this new dashboard link right over here. Now again, you can do create new dashboard. You could do new dashboard down here. So there's 3 different ways to get to your dashboard, to creating a dashboard. Or you can import data first and then create your dashboard, but the dashboard is going to ask you to import data starting out. So that's where we'll start. So I'm going to click here and I get the choice to import data, or I could use existing data that I have access to. I'm going to import from a file. And the Salesforce thing you can just ignore. It's for if we had purchased Salesforce for some kind of marketing, and obviously it's not available. So I want to import from a file. Any Excel, CSV, or text file could be imported. And it's much similar as any other import product. I'm going to import from my computer. So I browse to the file, and I happen to have a sample that MicroStrategy delivers as a practice. So I go up to it happens to be in my desktop, and it happens to be slots for the past 6 months. So there's my Excel file. When I get ready, I can do continue. Now it brings up that spreadsheet in MicroStrategy. It's already done some assumptions for us. If this already has column headers, but if it didn't, I could insert new column headers and type in whatever I wanted. You'll see these little yellow boxes, and they look like rulers. Yellow boxes are attributes, and the little ruler type thing is a metric. And MicroStrategy will automatically presume which is which. And in this case, like if I wanted to make year a metric, I wanted to do some kind of addition on it for some reason, then I could change that to a metric. I'm going to leave it as an attribute, but I can change it to a metric. I can choose not to import it at all. I can rename it if year doesn't make sense to me. I can link it to a project attribute, which means that I could, if there was year, for instance, in the finance area, and I wanted to link this year with the finance area year, and they both have the same format of 4-character year, I could actually link this data to annual data in Microstrategy that already exists by linking to the warehouse. I could change the data type. Right now it thinks it's a number. I could change it to text if I wanted to, or any of these other kinds of numbers. And it's already calculated much of this for me already. Okay, there's an attribute. And you can actually create additional time attributes from this day if you want. That's another feature. There's all kinds of advanced features that you just have to explore these options to understand what all you can do. We're just going to go through a simple example to get started, and then you can experiment on your own with this functionality. I'm happy with everything that's already lined out here, so I am going to continue. It'll ask me where to save it. It gives me a default name of the name of my spreadsheet, and that is fine with me, so I'm going to save it in my reports. I'm able to save to shared reports. You would not be able to. So this would, and even if it was available, you probably will not let you do it, but you always can save to my reports. Click OK. Okay, so here is a basic spreadsheet screen, and you see it already put the attributes and metrics along the side as data set objects, very similar to your interactive reporting that we've covered before. And we have this big selective visualization option, and you can click on that and you get options for this visualization. And you can decide, what do I want this to look like? And I'm going to select a heat map just because it's cool, but you can select, and it actually marks the one that would make most sense for the data that's available, but I'm going to select a heat map just to show you all the options. So it automatically loads some things over here in the heat map area, and it just did some zones here for slot zone. It's not really telling me a whole lot. So what I want to do is, I don't care about slot zones, and I'm really most concerned about how much of jackpot can I win, and how much do I have to put in order to win it. So let's look at metrics that tell me that. I can size by a particular metric and then color by another metric. So I'm going to size it by the payout amount. And I'm going to color it by I'm going to color it by the slot coin in. Okay. So now if I hover over these parts, I can see that, okay, the payout amount was 271 million and the coin in was 297 million. So 6 million went to the house. Sounds typical. And this is just by slot zones, which doesn't tell me a whole lot. So I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to say I want to know what month of the year gives me the biggest payout. Now, in the color, I can even change the thresholds. Now it's a little bit different than the thresholds we talked about before, but they're a lot easier. So I could say, well, let's make all of these bright red, but I could also change their color to be red, orange, green. Okay, so this one, I do not want to go play slots in January because I have a really bad payout amount ratio. Okay, so I have to put a lot of coin in, and I'm not getting the size. The size indicates the payout amount, and the color indicates how much money I have to put in. Whereas in August, I get a lot better ratio. So it turns out green. Okay, I can refine this by saying the day. Let's say I want to go over here. And this is what you use a dashboard for. You say, well, that made sense, but let's say, what were some good days? And it looks like there were some good days in January of 2013. But there are also good days in other, that's a little bit too much detail. So you say, well, okay, that didn't really tell me what I wanted. So I'll go and pick something else. Maybe the location has something to do with this. I don't think I want to play slots in West A. South B and East B seem like the best options as far as the slot payout. So this is the way you explore your data with a with a dashboard. You can also add a new layout and try something different. And now you can go back to your other layout and say, well, let me hang on to that one and look at this in a different way. And then you can create a new visualization. So there's a lot of functionality. Every visualization will give you different options. If you wanted to do some kind of a bubble chart, you can tie things together. There's all kinds. You could spend days just learning about how all the different options as far as doing visualizations, but it all entails picking a visualization and then dragging your attributes and metrics back and forth and adjusting on these options in order to create a visualization that makes sense for you. So I invite you to have fun and import some data and see what happens.